Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Kim Ross-Hollingsworth, and I'm the founder of the Arts and Authors Extravaganza and Book Builders Academy. And you are here on another episode of Arts and Authors Talk. And we this is a platform where we actually get a chance to uh, talk to authors and artists to find out a little bit more about them and to just dig a little bit deeper because when I'm at the Arts and Authors Extravaganza, I don't get a chance to go around and speak to everyone. And that's what this podcast is for, so that I can get a chance to meet them, dig a little deeper, and so that you can find out more information about them as well. And the purpose actually, tonight we have Sydney Williams that is going to be joining us, and I am going to bring her on now. How you doing? Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. And I just want everyone just to hear a little bit about you. Can you just give us a little information about yourself, please?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Sydney Williams. I am a author, and I am a school counselor here in the city of Trenton, New Jersey. And so some of the things that, you know, I have in store. This is my book here, and my goal is to spread mental health awareness to our children and families. So that's something that's a little bit
Excellent.
about me.
Yes. Well, I'm just glad that you're here, and just so that you can tell us a little bit more about your book. And you know and actually, I wanted to find out really quick, what inspired you to start writing?
So I knew I was always going to or wanted to be an author. I had some things that I never really knew that how powerful writing was. And so one of the things that I really embraced as being a counselor, and I always would tell my clients or my students, like, you should journal. And then, like, I actually never journaled myself until I actually started journaling. So I started probably journaling consistently for maybe started a pandemic, like right before the pandemic hit. I actually started journaling and being more consistent with it. And so I was like, oh my God, I need to, continue to journal. I just want to help people to journal and like get their words out and their feelings out. But then I
Mhm.
started working in the school system, coming from high school to elementary school.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, there's so much mental health. Like, you think our teenagers go through a lot of peer pressure and a lot of mental health, but our babies go through so much, and it comes out in their behavior. It comes out in different techniques or different, like, if even if a teacher triggers them, anything
Yes.
that you say could, or tone could be triggering in the classroom. So it's, they're triggered by a lot of different things, and
Yes.
so it comes out in their behavior. So that's one of the things I was like, okay, let me write a children's book on mental health and, kind of see where it goes.
Right.
Um, and so I just, honestly, I just started writing. I didn't really have a plan on. I knew I wanted it to be published, but I didn't know
Right.
what the title was going to be. I didn't know what, anything was going to be. And I was like, I know that this is something that is like my purpose, because anything that God wants you to do, it comes really fast. It comes really quick, and it's like
Hmm.
confirmation. So I was like, this is something that
Exactly.
I had to do and had to put out. So my, reasoning for putting out this book is because of the students that I worked with over the
Right.
years.
So here's a question for you. So you said you started out in the high school, and now you're working with elementary students. When you
Yes.
wrote the book, what age group did you gear the book towards, or
Yeah. So the when I wrote the book, I geared it towards children, but most importantly, it's so many things. Like, I'm a school counselor. It's so many things that I deal with as a school counselor. Not just social and emotional needs, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also academic needs.
Right.
So academically, our inner city schools were behind in our
Mm-hmm.
reading scores and where we should be. So
Right.
I was able to see that, but I also wanted to encourage parents to read to their children. Like reading starts at home, and I
Exactly.
think a
Yes, it
lot
does.
of parents think that we'll send their child learn to read at school. Like that starts
Mm-hmm.
from home, you
It
know.
does start at
So
home.
and I wanted a family book. That was like the most important thing. I wanted a family book. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to show black characters, black family, and black family having conversations about mental health because black like black mental health in the black community it's a whole lot better, but it
Yeah,
used to be very, very taboo. We have come a long way,
that
but
we have.
talking about mental health with our children is something that I think we kind of need to take another curve
Well, yeah.
and grow in that area because some I've seen a lot of parents, and it's kind of hard to say, like, if your child is going through a mental health issue or just concern, the acceptance of it,
Exactly.
and then getting yourself aware and being accepting of it to then help. That's a
Mm-hmm.
learning curve,
Well,
So
I remember back in the day, especially amongst our Black communities, mental health was something that was either not heard of.
hmm
We pushed some things under the rug, but it was there. I know for a
yeah,
fact it was there,
hmm
but it was something that we didn't speak about in the Black
hmm
communities. We didn't,
yeah,
and for you to come out with a children's book that is discussing mental health, especially since we've gone through the pandemic and everything, and
hmm
we're still going through it, and the virtual schooling and all that kind of stuff. It really played,
hmm
you know, a big part in why our children are facing mental health issues.
right, and I mean that's
They
something
don't
that's so
understand
true.
it. We don't
No,
even understand it.
no, and I think coming into the pandemic, so just to like put you in a mind frame of my world, I started working in the elementary school in the middle of the pandemic.
Wow.
So my whole first year at my school
Wow.
was virtual. Um, so we were able to see everything, like inside the households of the children, their daily lives with their parents or caregivers, and then
Mhm.
coming back into being hybrid last May, and then fully
Yes.
being in school this year. There was my third graders have never they weren't in school maybe a couple of months.
That's
Now they're in
terrible.
third grade, and then first grade never been in school, kindergarten never
Wow.
been in school.
Isn't that something?
So they came in with a lot of anxiety, a lot of
Yes.
social anxiety. I literally had a baby who was in first grade for the first time. Now a lot of people don't know this, but living in the state of New Jersey, kindergarten is not mandatory.
Oh,
So
really? I didn't
no,
know
it's
that.
not. Exactly. No, it's not. It's not mandatory to put your kid in school during.
Really?
It's helpful. It very much is helpful, and I think I encourage all parents to do it for this very
Exactly.
reason. But the child cried for 3 months straight, and we could not figure out every single day. And when I say cried, he cried like somebody was dying. Like he
Wow.
cried and hollered and screamed for at least 30 minutes every day, like in the morning. And we
That's
could not
terrible.
understand why he was crying, crying, crying. We had a meeting with his parent, and his mother had said he had never been in school.
Right.
All of the pandemic, he's just been home with us, like most children,
Right.
but he wasn't in school. He hadn't been around other children.
Wow. So he didn't even go to daycare, preschool, or
No,
anything. He just went
no.
straight to the gusto,
Right.
straight
And,
to
and I can
school.
understand a lot of the thinking because of COVID and because of the scare. You don't want your child to get
Yes.
COVID. You don't want your child to be exposed because now if your child's exposed, then the whole house is exposed. Like
Exactly.
there's a lot of fear and anxiety that comes around like COVID and being protected and
Yes.
vaccines and stuff like that. So, that was their decision that they didn't want to send
Yeah.
their child to any daycares or anything like
Right.
that. And then, you know, the social economic status plays a part of that too. If you know, if I'm at
Exactly.
home working, I can save money and don't have to send anybody to traffic.
Exactly.
You know, and so there's all these different layers socially that play into mental health in the Black community. And I think that's something that
Right.
we really don't discuss or don't really take a step back and realize, like,
I
hey,
think we're talking about it a
you
lot
know,
more now
a
than we
lot more
did in
now.
the past.
Yeah, yeah,
Because, it was hush hush in the past, but now, you know, I think we're dealing with it a lot easier because of the fact that we are going through the pandemic
yeah,
and,
yeah. We
you know,
are.
amongst other issues, political and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, we're going through a lot right now than ever before. So I know for a fact that, these issues are coming up now. Now, you
Hmm.
said something like your book. Well, first of all, I wanted to address Linda. Hi, Linda, and Shay. Hey, Shay. Amanda is here. Um, these are the ones that I can see so far.
Yeah, I
But
think I see Amanda, Linda, and yeah.
yes, and Linda was just saying that reading is fundamental and must be done often. And
Yes,
I would say at least the bare minimum, 20 minutes a day.
I agree.
20 minutes a day.
I agree.
And if they can do that, then, and I'm not talking about reading off of a cell phone by clicking Facebook or Twitter or something like that. I'm talking about a book, whether it's a Kindle, even though I love the smell of a book, I like the pages, I like flipping, you know, I believe that 20 minutes a day should be bare minimum.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
Linda also said journaling is good medicine. It's
Hmm.
extremely good medicine, and
Goodness.
that's how I wrote my very first book, because I journaled a lot when I was younger. And by journaling, that gave me that set the premise of every single year and chapter of my book. So it does help. And plus, it, like Linda said, it's good medicine. It was very, very therapeutic for me. And that's the reason why,
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to journal. And plus,
Mhm.
I tell people, especially if you have anxiety,
Yes.
get it out of your head. Get it
Yeah.
out of your head.
Hmm.
Because when you bottle all your thoughts and your anger and your just when you bottle all that stuff up in your head,
Hmm.
it can cause anxiety because you're not getting it out. When you're trying to
Hmm.
remember appointments, when you're trying to remember dates and stuff like
Hmm.
that can
Yeah.
cause anxiety. People don't
Hmm.
understand that, but it
Yeah.
really can.
And it's crippling. It can be crippling if you, like you said, if you don't have an outlet or don't have
That's right.
somebody to talk to, something to write it down with,
Exactly.
don't know where to turn to or who to
And
talk
some
to.
people
It could,
don't want to tell someone.
right, right.
They don't want, I mean, if we have some Christians on here. If you don't want to talk to Jesus or tell it to Jesus, you have to, and or you don't want to talk to somebody about it, putting it on paper and
Yes,
just it's a release.
yes, yep.
Even if you don't keep it
Mhm.
and you write it down and you ball it up and throw it in the trash, you still getting it off your chest. You're still
Yep,
getting it out of your head.
yes,
And
definitely.
you people need to really, think about their, journaling and, especially when it comes to anxiety.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wrote. So I also have this book, Avery, and I have another book called Be Your Own Therapist, which is a journal. And it's
That's good.
something that I wanted to just kind of help people. And it could be for teenagers, it could be for anybody, but help people to recognize, release your feelings.
That's
Recognize
right.
and release your feelings. So this is the book. I don't know if you guys can see
Yes.
that.
So be your
This is
own
the book.
therapist.
Yeah, be your own therapist, and it's a daily guided journal, and it's really supposed to for you to recognize, reflect, resolve, and release your feelings. That's
Excellent.
the
So there
main.
is spaces that people can fill in, like the children. Now I know you said it's for children, but can adults
Yeah,
actually
this is more
use
so
it
for
as
like
well?
it could be for an adult, it could be for a child, it could be for anybody because it's what you make it. The thing is, it's very loosely guided journal. It literally just starts off today. I feel. and
Wow.
you have to fill in the blanks. I do give you rules on how to do everything I just said. But the
Mhm.
most important thing that I wanted to add is a feelings bank, a feeling word bank, because
Yes.
we have our primary emotions: mad, sad, happy. But you could be sad, but you're really not feeling sadness. You may be feeling disappointment,
Hmm.
So really putting a word to how you're feeling, that was my goal. So if you see, this is the whole feelings
Oh,
word bank.
wow.
And so the goal is for you to, recognize your feeling. Pick one of these feelings. And if it's not on here, make it up. Because you could be feeling
Exactly.
everything in one. Like this is for you to do you however you want, this book to look like. But
Yes.
the word bank is really, really important. And then it's so funny because the way this book came about is I I'm a counselor, but I also go
Mhm.
to therapy just
Mhm.
because I think it's a good practice of mental health care.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
and just because at this point, like I think it's important to go when things are
Yes,
really
it is.
good and when things are really bad, But just being in the consistency of going. And
Hmm.
so one day, something happened, and I don't know if I missed my therapy. I think I just had so much of being so overwhelmed, had so much on my mind, where either I missed the therapy appointment, something happened where I didn't have therapy that week.
Right.
I either missed it or I just didn't have it that week because I go like bi-weekly. And
Yes.
so I was like, okay, I need to like journal, but like I need to journal in a way where I need to actually identify my emotions. And
Right.
so I literally wrote down every word that I was feeling,
Wow.
then went back to every word and said, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed because I'm feeling
Mhm.
disappointed because I'm feeling sad because I'm feeling tearful because. And
Right.
and by doing that and giving those specific words meaning and describing why I felt that way was
Yes.
very, very impactful for me because I was able to say, oh, okay, um, you're able to see things a little bit differently, right?
Yeah.
If you're able to like be like, okay, I could manage this a little bit better. I know where this source of emotion is coming from. I know
Exactly.
what's triggering this, and so I
Exactly.
know um, I recognized it, and now I can release it. I
Exactly.
can figure out, okay, what do I need to take? What steps do I need to take to resolve this issue? If anything can be resolved, because sometimes you write down and nothing can be resolved.
That's
And
true.
that's okay. But you got to know that this is something that can't be resolved. This is just a matter of fact, and it is what it is. But you got to be okay after you leave
That's
that
right.
piece of paper that it is what it is. And
Yes.
so that was something that was helpful for me. And I was like, if I just in 15, 20 minutes gave my whole self therapy session and didn't have to charge no insurance or nothing, uh, I know somebody else could use this, and I know
That's good.
people don't want to go. Some people don't want to go to therapy, and that's
Yeah.
okay,
But
you
yeah.
know. But to be able to nurse myself back to a positive emotional state after
Yes.
writing all of those feelings, I think it was really, really enlightening. Like it was to the point where I surprised myself because I'm a counselor, and I surprised myself. I was like, I never thought that I would be able to be like. I mean, yes, because I have a master's in counseling, I know the tools, but
Hmm.
doing it and being so high of emotion and nursing yourself back to a positive mental state
Yes.
is a whole different thing.
It does make a
You know?
difference.
And
It
so
really
I was
does.
able, yeah, so I was able to really um, just be in a positive headspace after that. And I was like, okay, people need to hear this and people need to understand like how to journal. And so one of the
Yes.
things that I offer on my site and just a part of my services is that
Hmm.
not only do I want people to journal, but I'm have classes and workshops to teach people how to journal effectively
That's good.
using this 4R method, and so
Hmm.
that's something that is like really, really, I'm really passionate about it because if you don't, writing is writing, but if you don't write with purpose,
Exactly.
it's
Yes, it has to be done with purpose. Definitely. Now, where did you come up with the title of your book, Avery's First Day of School?
so Avery's first day of school, I don't even know. I think honestly, I really think it was God saying
First
like,
of all, Avery, because
yes,
you don't have any children.
no.
But
So I literally love
Avery,
the name Avery. And so if I ever have a son or a daughter, probably gonna name them Avery. But that name is being tossed up now because one of my good friends is pregnant and she may or may not name her son
oh,
Avery, and she's gonna hopefully make me the godparent.
oh, that's so sweet.
So my goal for Avery is I wanted a unisex name because my name is a unisex
Yes,
name.
yes,
And then I wanted a name that I just wanted a black character. Like I
right,
mean, honestly, I obviously didn't care about the name,
right,
but I was like, oh my god, this is a catchy name. This could be universal, no matter
exactly.
the race of child. Um, but I also wanted it to be about a little boy who went through all these issues and mental
Hmm.
health concerns. And
Right,
so my first goal really in before even writing this was that I'm not a person that does one thing. Like this to me is a series of
hmm.
mental health issues of
Yes,
books. That's a series. And so
yes,
as I tackled this series, I wanted a consistent character. Because I think any big house names like Judy B. Jones and just different, books that we see at Barnes and
right.
Noble, they all have one consistent character, but
Yes,
they
they
go
do.
through a whole bunch of issues.
Yes, they
So
do.
I wanted it to be consistent, but I also wanted to showcase black characters
Right.
and black family.
Hmm.
And so writing this book was a cool process, but going through a publisher and seeing the pictures and the illustration come to life was a whole
I
different
know. I
process.
want to see some of the pictures. Can you show us
So
some of the
yes, so
pictures
this is
within the
the book.
book? Okay, so that's the outside. And
So this is the
Avery's
outside of the
handsome.
book.
He's a handsome little boy.
Yes, and so I wanted to showcase everything that Black family has, and some of
Mhm.
our centers. Like we have take pride in food and cooking and being around
Yes,
the
we do.
table. So there's a lot of scenes where we're in the kitchen
Oh,
and
it's
we're at
so
the table.
nice.
And I said I want a black character. So you see his cousin here with locks. You see mom making breakfast in the morning or
Yeah.
at the afternoon. They're eating dinner. She has her rollers in and her pajamas. Like I wanted to be very, very
Relatable.
relatable to the black
Hmm.
community, um, and just very understandable. Like I wanted it to be a modern family because some kids don't see
That's
um,
right.
being able to have their own room. So even if you look at Avery's room, it's very, very kid friendly
Oh, wow.
with wallpaper and action figures and stuff and toys all
Yes.
around. It's very kid friendly. I wanted it to be like a 5-year-old boy's room. And I wanted it to be very, very relatable.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't even know. It's a whole
Now,
bunch of things in here.
so I see here, okay, that in the book, you have the parents sitting around the table. I mean, the family sitting around the table. So there is a mom, there is a dad, there
Yes.
is he has his own room, everything
Yes.
looks nice. Where does his anxiety come into play?
So his
That's
anxiety comes into play because he is a kid that's going to school for the first time.
oh,
So
that's there you go.
yeah. So mom and dad have to sit him down and say, "Listen, sweetheart, you're getting older now, and it's time for us to enroll you in school." So the
Hmm.
other little boy with the locks, that's his cousin, and
Okay.
so Avery is the only child for now. But he has an older cousin who's telling
Hmm.
him like, "Listen, I'm in school. I got bullied my first year of school, and it's fine
Wow.
and all, but it's
So the cousin is a little older.
the cousin is a little older, and so the cousin's telling him like, I got bullied when I went to school first time, and I mean, I don't know what your experience is going to be like, but I'm just telling you my experience." So his anxiety forms around the fear of, oh my God,
Got it.
are people going to like me? Am I going to be good enough for school? Do I really need to go to school? Is it something that is even for me? Like, why do I have to go? You know what? Like we were
Yes.
fine up until now. Now you're making me go to school, and my whole world is changing. And I don't
Exactly.
think that a lot of parents really sit down and take the time to realize that that's a huge milestone where your
It
child
really
is
is.
either A, going to a new school,
Yep.
transferring schools, going to school for the first time. Like most kids are kind of excited about it if they have been in like daycare and like that's the next
Yes.
transition. But even just stopping for a moment, just to actually like,
Mhm.
how do you feel about this? Like, are you okay with this?
Right.
Do
Right.
you have any feelings towards this? Just to be aware of what they're feeling, because you don't want to get to the first day of school and then the parent and then the main office calling like, come get your kid after you just dropped them off at
That's
30 minutes,
true.
because they will call you and say
That's
you got to
what
come get your
happened.
baby. So because he was fine when you dropped him off, but
Exactly.
something triggered him, something happened. They didn't want, the favorite is they don't want to share, so they have a tantrum, they fall out.
That's true.
Now you got to
That
come
is
get your
true.
kid, and so it's really important to kind of have those conversations and have conversations as a family. And that was
Yes.
one of the main goals about just being around the family, being around the kitchen table, having those conversations. Kind of
Yes.
almost remind me of soul food, where we like have like the
Exactly.
movie Soul Food. You don't have these conversations, these family conversations at the dinner table. Um,
Yep.
and Avery get a little spicy in the book. He does get a little spicy. He walks away from his mother, his black mama,
All right now, Avery.
and throw his stuff. And he does get a little spicy, but just being compassionate,
Yes.
showing empathy, showing concern, and not
Exactly.
hollering and screaming, and just the way the parents and the way I have written the book was the parents
Hmm.
to be compassionate, to be present, to
That's
be
good.
empathetic to the child, and
Hmm.
really let them understand that I'm here for you first, but you have to
Exactly.
try. Like,
Right.
we just need you to try. You give me your try, and we will figure out the rest. And so that's
Exactly.
one of the things that the parents are, kind of patrolling throughout the whole novel and about throughout the whole book. And
Mhm.
the actual first day of school, his parents drive him to school. He eats breakfast.
Right.
Just simple things to get him up and ready. He eats breakfast.
Exactly.
His parents both drive him to school. You
Hmm.
know, they all looking nice, like working class. They
Right.
have a nice dress on. Dad has on the suit and tie. They will walk him into the school building for the
Oh
first
wow.
time, where his teacher greets him. He makes some friends in the
Hmm.
book, and then throughout the book, in one page, it's a breathing technique,
Okay.
because he he talks about um being in your happy place, and doing breathing techniques, and just taking a moment to feel what you feel, but like
Right.
breathe through it. And so he's questioning his mom on the drive to school. um Avery's mom is like, if you have any issues or if you're feeling this type of way, just do some deep breathing. And he's like, well,
Oh,
what's deep breathing? And so, like, we
so
go
do
through
you
the whole
show in
breathing.
the within the book, do you give examples of how you can do that deep breathing?
So there is a page where they actually do a deep breathing. So it's so
Oh
funny because
wow.
when I go and do book reads, I'm like stop the book, like I like kind of pause it and I say, okay, like I'll read that page. I say, okay, guys, so like we're gonna like pause right here. So we're gonna practice deep breathing. And so I make the kids do deep breathing
Sounds like
right in front of
a
me.
nice book.
So I make them do deep breathing right in front of me. And then after that, after everybody's calm, like I'll continue to read the book because it's like only
Right.
a couple
Right.
pages after that and then the book is over. But that's something that is like always cool to see, so people can understand like this is the book, this is what's going on here. So that's something that
Yes.
really they get to kind of process it with Avery, and then after the book, like after my book reading, I'll kind of ask them, how did you feel about the deep breathing? Like, did you feel okay?
Right.
Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, where are you at right now? Things like that. So
That's so nice.
it's cool.
Now, first I want to say hi to Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. Thanks for joining us. Is there a what? Can you read us the back of the book for me, please?
So this is the back of the book.
Nice.
So the back of the book just says, meet Avery as he deals with his fear of going to school for the first time. While he contemplates this idea, his anxiety creeps in, bringing up negative thoughts and anger. In this book, Avery learns from his parents that it's okay to be nervous before starting new things, but he should never give up. You never know if you don't try. Now let's kick anxiety's butt.
Yay. I love that. That's really good. I can't wait to get my copy because I am going to, just like I did, because I met you through Zoe Duran.
Yes.
He's another children's author. And, I he actually gifted me a book for both my daughters.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I did give them a book, but I definitely want to get your book so that I can give them to them because, I mean, this is a book that I believe that, most of these kids can relate to nowadays because of the fact that we're going through the pandemic. And sometimes we don't really understand what they're going through.
Yes.
But I believe if we ask the right questions, and your book can help with that.
Yes.
Ask the right questions, show them the breathing techniques.
Right.
Then maybe we can overcome some of these issues.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that is so funny because I don't even know if I have one on me, but my goal was to
hey Tiara.
So when people purchase the book, so the you can find this book, both of the books are on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and things like that. But
so it's a book or is it a workbook or is it both?
This is a book. This is a book, and then this is a workbook.
Oh, okay.
Like this is a journal.
Okay, the journal,
and
this
is just a regular children's book. But along with this children's book, I pair it with a parent guide. So the parent guide is basically a little brochure that tells you how to talk to your child about mental health. It literally is teaching you different techniques, different things that you can do. Like,
so do you sell any of them as a bundle? Like all three as a bundle?
I do not actually sell them all three as a bundle. I know I could. I actually could. I don't sell them as a bundle. But the Avery First Day at School with the brochure is really impactful because before I thought about the book, I always knew I wanted to do a parent guide and a book. But the parent guide, eventually I think it will be a whole like small book,
right?
How to talk to your kids about mental health. But as I go on in my professional journey, it's kind of helping me shape what things that I really want to target.
Yes.
As far as discrepancies and different concerns that parents have,
Right.
But it does definitely talk to you about. My goal is to help parents check themselves before they have these serious conversations. With their children, because it's so easy to get like upset.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this from experience, being on the other side of it and seeing students having to go through this. Where, for instance, I had a kid the other day. She was suicidal.
And she's in elementary school.
And she's in elementary school. And she was suicidal. And you, like, legally, I got to tell your mama that you're suicidal because she now has
you do.
Evaluated because God forbid anything happen. I need to make sure that you're okay.
Exactly. I agree.
But the fear that a kid goes through when it says, I have to tell your mom, and you may not have the mom that's compassionate and understanding and very empathetic to where you are. You may have a parent that is going to chastise you for feeling the way you feel.
Like, why you feel? What's wrong with you? Why are you going to? I can see it.
Or play it down or say, you don't feel like that. They just playing.
Exactly.
So that parent guide is for me is like a way of kind of debunking some of that and kind of getting rid of some of those feelings
Yes.
that really have no place. But when you're discussing a mental health issue, a real life concern of your child feeling the way they feel, you have to approach it in a certain manner,
Yeah.
because
And
if you don't, you're not going to get the answers that you need. You can't
that's
be
right.
a helicopter mom, helicopter dad. Like I understand that these are your babies,
Right.
but you have to approach this as a just listen. Like you just have
And
to
and
listen.
sometimes, like you say, it's most of us parents. You're a counselor, so of course you were, educated in certain, you know,
Yeah,
capacities.
yes.
But us as parents, sometimes we don't know what to say to our kids,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're going through some of those, issues and suicide and stuff like that. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to handle it.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I wrote the guide, because I'm like, okay, there's no way that I would be doing the full work that I'm intended to do if I don't pair it with a parent guide.
Yeah.
Because it starts with the parents first.
I think that's so smart.
Everything starts with the parents first, and the parents have to
Mhm.
be conscious about the things that they that they do, and be
Yeah.
conscious about the things that they say, or like whatever your upbringing was. And I am a strong believer in, you can change the cycle of how
Yes,
you
you
were
can.
parented versus how you parent, but
Yep.
oftentimes they're not. Some we parent the way we were parented.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are like, like unintentionally we parent the
Exactly.
way we were
You have to
parented
break those
until
cycles.
you are like sitting down and you're like, oh shoot,
Yeah. Because
I
that's
didn't
what
like
I
this
was
when
going to
my mom did
say.
it. I now
Yeah.
kind of
You'll
shake
look at it
things up.
like you said, you'll downplay it. Like, we don't do that.
Right,
You're stronger
right,
than that. Oh,
right.
you can pray about it. You can do this.
Mhm,
But they don't realize you're talking to a child.
mhm,
They don't understand what you're talking about.
mhm. All they
You
know is
know?
that they have these emotions and they don't know where they're coming from. They don't.
Yeah.
So it's so funny
So
because
you have to approach it differently.
you have to
And
approach it a lot differently.
it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience because, like you said, if we were brought up totally different. And this is a whole like these
This
kids are
population, this new
this is
new
different.
generation, they're different type of children, and so you really got to be compassionate. You really have to be like
Just
understanding,
different.
like like they're little adults, literally.
They are.
They are little
And they're
adults
so
because
smart. They're
they're
much
very smart.
smarter than we were
They're very
at
smart,
their
and
age.
based on some of their history and their home life, they have to be, kind of they
Yeah.
have to be, and
Because
some
basically
instances.
these children are raising themselves because the
Mhm,
parents are out working.
mhm,
So most of the time they're learning on their own. So we have to learn as parents, and that's what I really appreciate you writing the parents guide. We have to approach things a lot different
mhm.
because these children are growing up different.
And the one thing that I say in the parent guide is, as a parent, you gotta check you at the door before you have
Exactly.
any
Yes, we
conversation
do.
with anybody,
It's so true.
because it's so easy to get caught up in how you perceive how the situation should go, what you think they feeling,
Exactly.
and what you want the result to be moving forward. Like you can't
Exactly.
even like anything you know about parenting and what you think is right, you got to kind of check that at the door,
Yes, you do.
and then have a conversation with your child, and then maybe come back to that a little bit later. But in the midst of
Yes. And just
about to have those
listening.
conversations, you have I think the
A lot
major
of
part
times
is listening.
is listening. Sometimes we got to put these down
Mhm.
and we have to just listen.
Mhm.
Listen.
Mhm. And
And
bring it
you
back
can
that
find out
family time
so much
too.
more. You have to have a family time. You'll find out more than what you think you can find out if you just pay
Mhm.
attention to them. Because most of the time, the parents aren't paying attention to these kids anymore. And I
Mhm.
like what Tiara said. She said, and bullying is so horrible in schools. And it
Mhm.
really is. And that's what Linda Joyce, she's an advocate for bullying. And she's trying to
Mhm.
reach out to you because she wants to find out, because you are a counselor, and
Mhm.
she just want to talk to you and collaborate with you a little bit about
Yes,
bullying, because
definitely, definitely.
it's just
Bullying
it's
is a
bad.
big thing. Yeah, it's a really big thing,
Thank you, Tina.
and it's also one of my many duties at job. I am the, we call it HIB, but it's the harassment and bullying specialist. So I am the HIB specialist at school also.
Yes.
So it's just a lot. It's a lot.
And you're in a
Kind of to
your
digest.
school district that you're at, it's most of these issues come up, especially with
Mhm,
like the area that you live in, the
mhm,
city. It is a lot rougher, it's a lot harder. The parents are not always there,
mhm.
you know.
And I think,
Um,
yeah, I think that's one of the things that is, it's the city, and I'm born and raised in the city, and I love my city. It's, I think what happens is, if I've never had any issues with any of my
right.
parents or anything like that, and I think that is attributed to, because I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna
Hmm.
keep it real with you, and I'm gonna be genuine, but I genuinely want to help and see your child succeed,
Yes.
and you as a parent succeed.
Yes.
And so, any way I can, if I see something happening or I see a parent is really trying, and me and my also parent liaison, like, we always make sure that we acknowledge the parents and say, I I know you, I know it's hard, but we see you. We see that you're
That's right.
trying. We appreciate you for trying,
That's
or we
right.
just thank you for at least getting the kid here on time. And I tell the student, like,
Exactly.
with attendance and things like that, like where parents can't get their kids to school at all, and I'm like, listen,
Yes.
mom, dad, just get them here. I don't care
Exactly.
what time you get here. We'll take care of the rest. Just get them here.
Exactly.
You
And
know.
that's why I appreciate you writing books like this,
Mhm.
because your books are relatable. And like you were saying something about starting series, and maybe that's another book within the series, hint, hint, that you can do.
Yeah, and so
You
right,
know,
yeah, so right now I am writing and planning to, write different books. So I have like a list of
titles,
issues. I actually
issues.
do it by
Oh, the
issues.
issues first, and
Yeah,
then
I
oh
actually do it by
wow.
issues because I have my mind. I have
Can
to
you
like.
just blurt out like a couple of them for me,
So
please?
definitely
It's
bullying.
interesting. This is really interesting to me.
Definitely bullying, definitely grief and loss, because I have so many kids. Like, you
Mm,
think that mental health is big. There's so
mm,
many children that have lost caregivers, parents throughout this pandemic at kindergarten to fifth grade. Now, just to put an age to this, kindergarten to fifth grade is anywhere from 6 to 11.
right,
Those are your primary years where you need your
right.
parents. You need, in with the pandemic, with everything that's been going on, people are dropping off like flies. Like,
Really are.
unfortunately, like the death rate has gone up really, really
Yes.
high, and so that affects a lot of my students.
Yeah.
Um, and so definitely grief, and loss, friendship, because
Yeah.
kids don't know how to be friends for nothing. Like,
And that book,
you
what
know,
you were saying about suicide within
suicide, and so
elementary
some
students,
of
because
these things,
that's something we never
yeah,
heard
we
of.
never talk about. We never, ever, ever, ever talk
Mm-mm.
about. And that was, in writing the parent guide, my envisioned of how you have to approach certain sensitive information. I was writing it from that perspective, as
Wow.
if you were talking to a kid that was suicidal.
Wow.
Because if you could talk to a kid that's suicidal and have those same um, characteristics, and those same
Mhm.
tools, you can talk to a kid that got anxiety.
Yeah, that's
You
so
know,
true.
and so be over prepared
That's right.
is my goal. And so one of the things that I also write in the parent guide is like a game that you can just do with your kids, and it's
Yes.
so funny because I heard.
Now, do you have games in your book?
So I don't have games in my book, but one of the games that I will share with you all is I heard Tamar Braxton say this on one of her many interviews, and she said she was going to therapy, and one thing that she does with her son is give the thorn of the day and the rose of the day,
Wow.
and it's such an easy, simple thing that you can do that may take 5 minutes max,
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to have dialogue, it's a nice way to open up dialogue with your children and
Wow.
your spouse or whoever's in
Exactly.
the house. Like,
That's
whatever.
true.
Even if you want to call somebody up, one of your close friends, like, what was your thorn of the day? And your
That's
thorn of the
nice.
day is something that's negative or that was overwhelming or that was just something that bothered you
Bothered you. Yeah.
throughout the day. And then your rose is just something good that happened throughout the day. And
That is so good.
the people that you talk to, whether or not, how to approach them. And saying those things, it's very helpful because now you can gauge where they are emotionally.
That's so
Now, if
true.
somebody said, "Okay, I was in traffic today. I got work. I got late to. I was late to work. I almost got in a car accident. This and third, and that was my thorn of the
That
day."
was the
Now you
thorn.
know. Okay, now right. That's what I'm saying. Now you know. Okay, this is why they came home tense. This is why they came home
Right.
really aggravated or anxious or anything like that. Like you can be able to pick up on some of those
Yeah,
things.
because some people don't talk about it. So then they're just coming home, they're just angry. And it's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
what's wrong with you? And
Mm-hmm.
but if you approach it in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, instead of saying, well, what bothered you? Because that's another thing that we don't think about. The words that we use can
It's
trigger
very
even
important.
more anger or it can, like the words, just calm down. When you tell somebody to calm down, you're basically telling them to keep going or get
Mm-hmm.
more irritated.
Yeah, and I feel like we're all guilty of it. We're
We
all guilty of saying
we
like those
really
calm
are.
down words, like "Oh, you'll be fine," "You'll get
Exactly.
over it,"
But
like "Or
if
you're
you
so
approach,
dramatic."
yeah, if you approach it like what you said, well, what
Yeah,
was your thorn for the
yeah,
day?
well,
You
yep,
know,
and even saying those things, that's it's
you
really
know, if
important,
you approach it a different way, then maybe
Mhm.
they'll open up.
Yes,
Because most of the time, if you ask them, well, what's bothering you, or why are you mad, they're not gonna want to respond.
no, no, they're not, and so that's something that, like, I just thought that was interesting to put that in there also. But back to the other topics, I think I said them all. Like bullying, grief and loss is a big one. I really want to do one on sexual trauma. But
Uh-huh.
I know
Ooh,
that I'm gonna
that's a
have
good
to
one. You got to
pray
be
about that
sensitive
one.
in that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got.
I would have to really, really ask
Yeah,
God to lead me
yeah,
in
very much so.
what He wants me to say with that. And I think I'm gonna bring in some of my other counselor friends to just help
Yeah,
me.
that needs help.
Um, yeah, it needs some help because it's so much. Trauma is such a broad topic, and
Mhm.
being specific in what trauma I want to um,
Talk about,
write about
right about.
is really, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I really, really want to do sexual trauma,
Hmm.
but I want it, want it to be done right and want it to be done tastefully, but I also want it
Exactly,
to be kid friendly
exactly.
and family friendly. Um, and
Thank you,
oh,
Tara.
thank you. Family oriented, and just my goal is for these books to be conversational pieces. It's
And I
really
like
not,
that.
it's really more. It's the book is the book, and I love my work that I have started so far. But
Hmm.
my goal is to spread mental health education across Black and Brown communities. Like that's my
That's
goal,
right.
and so this is just the avenue in which I get to my goal.
Exactly.
And so I'm really excited about what's going on, but I have to continue to write. They always say as a writer, don't stop writing, but it's
You
so
don't stop
hard.
writing.
It's so
And you
hard
know what
to
else
not
they
write.
say as a writer? You already started your books, and don't just stop there.
Yes,
You
definitely.
know, pillows, you can
Yeah,
do characters. I mean,
yeah, that's one
you
of the
can
things that I'm like,
you
oh gosh,
your books can really you can really take them someplace.
yes.
And so I really appreciate hearing your story because I just find that it's unique, it's different, and and I just think it can help a lot of us, especially
Hmm.
from parent. all the way down to, adolescent. I mean, it really can help us all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the main reasons why I like that you're doing what you're doing.
So thank
And
you.
you're welcome. Now, uh, what do you have coming up next and when? Do you have an idea?
So next, I actually have my calendar is pretty open for May, but I've been doing a lot of vending events, just being out in the community and my community, and so I've been doing some of those. But right now, I'm just open for workshops and bookings for workshops and trainings, because
Mhm.
that's something else that I'm trying to get into training staff on mental health, and working with some of our big names like YMCA and things like that, just so they
Nice.
can get the knowledge on mental health and
Yes,
how they interact with their students and how they interact with the kids. Because a lot of
exactly.
our YMCA's and Boys and Girls Clubs are seeing a lot of these emotions also. And so
Exactly.
just there's been a lot of funding poured into mental health and trauma and ACEs, all this
Mm,
stuff, which is adverse childhood experiences, all of
yes,
these trainings and different things, so that people can be aware, and
exactly.
people can and be aware and look at the child in a holistic lens, and not
Right.
just okay, I'm dealing with them in the boys like through the Boys and Girls Club lens. So it is what it is with that. That just looking
Yeah.
at the whole child and being like, okay, little Johnny's having this issue. Why is that? Let's
Right.
let's peel back the layers. Let's see what the issue can be and not just overlook little Johnny and
Exactly.
you know
We're not going to
suspend
overlook
him for
the issue.
suspend him for whatever he did that was crazy.
That's right.
So I'm definitely getting into that. I do have some book readings coming up. I'm gonna try to do some. People have been asking me to do a lot of different things, so I'm just trying to service other people, and
That's right.
that's how people are getting on my calendar, really. But
That's
I
right.
am open for anything. I will do book readings. I actually haven't done a book reading in a while. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably time for me to do my own like live book reading.
Oh, yeah.
And
Most
so
definitely.
those are some of the things that I've been doing. I do
Nice.
have it's funny, I have it's mental health awareness month. So I'm
Mhm.
doing a book reading at our high school with our teen parents. So our teen
Nice.
parents are gonna get this book so that they can read to their babies
Oh, that's nice.
um, at the daycare. So that's one of the
Nice.
things that I'm doing this month also. So I'm
Beautiful.
here.
So where can our readers purchase your book?
So
Do you
you
have
can
a
purchase.
website?
Yes, I have my own website. You also can purchase them on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. But if you want to purchase them on my website and get a signed copy with the parent guide, um, or just a signature copy of either book, this book or this book,
Hmm. Where
um,
can I get it?
you can get it from my website. It is Sydney SYDNEY Williams.com. It's SydneyMWilliams.com, and you can find everything on my site. Um, yeah, you can find everything on my site, and everything for purchase, and then you will get it shipped to you, signed, delivered.
Yes. And I just want to thank you for coming on, sharing with us about your book.
Yes,
And
no problem.
Tiara, I said, I just got it. That's right, Tiara. We're gonna get this book. And and we look to hear and see more great things from you. And I will also provide you with a list of like some of the upcoming events that we have.
Yes, definitely.
Because we're trying to collaborate. We're all trying to share different events that we can go to. And I'll definitely be able to hook you up with that information.
Oh,
But
yes,
I'd
awesome.
like to thank you so much for, you know,
Thank you.
coming on and sharing with us.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
you're welcome. And I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for staying on with us.
Yes.
And we will have, well, we come on bi-weekly. So bi-weekly Mondays. And I will have the next guest at the bottom of in the comment section. So you'll see the next guest. I just have my planner upstairs and I know I'm unprepared, but don't kill me for that. But I will have the next guest listed at the bottom. But I want to thank you all for listening in. And if you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comment section, and Sydney and I will answer them the best way possible. All right. Even when this broadcast is over, those questions we can still get and answer them for you. But I want to thank you all once again. And please, please, please subscribe first, ring the bell so that you can see when we have other videos come on, and also like, comment, and share. But I thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.
Good
Thanks.
night. Thank you.